learn more about Mothers Against. Hallelujah.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us this evening. May God bless you in your work.
Thank you.
It's your time.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Collette Flanagan, and I'm the founder of Mothers Against Police Brutality. This has been a long, painful journey for me. I founded Mothers Against Police Brutality because I lost my son. My son was stolen. He was murdered by a Dallas policeman. Clinton was shot 7 times, once in the back, and he was unarmed, and he was only 25 years old. On this journey, I also have found many, many other mothers. It's a club that no one wants to be in. Locally, here in Dallas, through research and open records, there have been over 60 unarmed men killed by Dallas policemen. And a lot of you don't know those statistics. And that is what we are here to enlighten you. We have to get involved into our community. We have to know what's going on in our community. And just watching the news is not going to enlighten us. The one thing that I started on this journey was to find justice for my son. I was very selfish. I was mad, I was angry, and I wanted to know, how could this have happened to my child? But I realized that this was bigger than Clinton Allen. There were mothers that live in this very city that no one has ever given them any validation. They bury their children. They're not even considered a victim because they were shot and killed by the police. And so we have to re-examine some other things too. And one thing for me, it was such a betrayal because I always taught my children to respect the law. If someone knocks on the door and mommy's not home, you call 911. You know, if someone's trying to hurt you, you call 911. So it's such an egregious breach of contract when the very civil servants that we employ in our name to watch our families, to protect our families, kill our children, we can no longer stay silent. No longer stay silent. You know, I want to be perfectly clear that Mothers Against Police Brutality, we're not against policemen. We understand that we need law and order. There are a lot of policemen that do their jobs and became policemen for the right reason. But it is very naive for us to think that there aren't bad apples. And if you've been watching the news lately, you know that we are past just a few bad apples. We're into bushels of bad apples now. And so what we have to do is that we have to employ our officials that we elect to work for our families again. We have to ask that of them. So when we have 60 unarmed men, 60, can you even grasp that? 60 mothers' children are in the grave. 60. Shot 9 times in the head, in the back, just egregious. And so what we're moving for is policies and procedures, changes that will protect our families. There has not been an indictment of a police officer that have shot and killed an unarmed person in Dallas since 1973. That's 41 years. So what we're dealing with is, if we're not asking for accountability, we're telling our police department that it's okay to kill our children. So we have to make a change. And one of the changes that Mothers Against Police Brutality is fighting for, and it's on the table right now in the making, we think that every police officer in Dallas, Texas should be drug tested. Not just drug tested when you come out of the academy, but you see, police officers see a lot of things that you and I don't see, that normal people don't see. I mean, they see, brains and murder and babies and just carnage. They see a lot. And some of those officers are troubled. And they shouldn't have a gun, and they shouldn't have a badge, and they shouldn't have authority. So when those bad apples show us who they are, we must have the courage to eradicate, to remove these officers from the police force. And so that is the accountability that we're asking for locally and nationally. We started locally, now we have mothers nationally reaching out to Mothers Against Police Brutality, because there is not an organization nationally that are bringing mothers together. It's one thing I remember my mother telling me many, many years ago, and it stands true. The position of a mother is so powerful. If you are going to be born and walk on this earth, you have to come through a woman. How powerful is that? So these are our babies. These are our children. And so we can't turn a blind eye. We can't say, it's never happened to me, or it would never happen to me, because I was in that category of, this could never happen to me. And believe me, if it could happen to me, it can happen to you. So what I would like to challenge you with tonight is to get involved. Facebook is great. I like Facebook at 2 o'clock in the morning. But when you see these egregious things that are happening, I hope that they're leaving, these issues of police brutality are leaving imprints on your brain and not just shaking my head, or wow, or dang, or that's horrible. There's a lot that you can do, just even without being part of an organization. When you click on that video and you see a policeman that's kicking someone in the head and dragging a pregnant woman, find out where he works. Call his police chief. I'm appalled. Where is this man? Because of the work that we did with Clinton Allen when my son was killed, along with Dallas community organizations, Organizing for Change. It's a very wonderful organization. Got with us and held our hand, because there was no one else. There was no one to go to. We couldn't even get a police report. No one's talking to you. And so that is just the way it is. So what I encourage you to do is to get involved and find out, be more active. We're having rallies and protesting is beautiful. Makes you feel good, it's fun, it makes you, really brings out the activism in you, but what you do after the rally, what you do after the protests is what is going to make a difference. I challenge all of you today, whatever church you may go to, ask your pastor, how can we get involved? Well, we have 60 unarmed men that have been killed in the city. That's 60 mothers and 60 fathers that are without children. What are you prepared to do? How much are you prepared to be involved? Because you see, it doesn't matter how much money you make or how big your house is. If your son or daughter runs into that policeman that I told you that shouldn't have a gun and a badge late at night and the situation is right, you will be burying your child. And that is why we fight for policies and procedures to be changed, because that is what we need. We need policies and procedures that are going to protect our families, and again, starting with drug testing, to make sure that we are getting the finest, vetting the police officers better. I thank you all for coming. I thank you for your love and the support that so many people have shown us throughout this whole ordeal. We started out just with a couple of us, and see Chonga in the front, working late at night, just refusing to give up. And I'm happy to say that in the first time in the history of Dallas, the officer that shot Clinton Allen is still not on the street, and that has never happened. And before I close, I'd like to thank some community partners, Pan-African Connection, Dallas Communities Organizing for Change, Code Pink, Dallas Peace Center, Veterans for Peace, African American Pastor Coalition, and Stop Mass Incarceration out of New York City. Thank you so much for coming.